Hello and welcome to Growing Tech Fast. Today I am joined by Kiley Summers, the CEO of SpenDebt. It's great to have you on the podcast today. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm looking forward to the conversation, Holly.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited about this one today. I think a good way to get us started off, Kiley, would be by giving yourself an introduction, what you're all about, and a little bit about SpenDebt would be great as well.
Okay, absolutely. So, I'm Kiley Summers. I am a husband, father, and entrepreneur, the founder of SpenDebt. You got to get right into it. SpenDebt is a financial technology company, really on a mission to help save 1 million families from financial fatalities every time they swipe their debit card or have a banking transaction. And part of doing that, we use an application that allow people to come onto our platform, create a profile, link the bank account they want to pay from, tell us the debt account they want to pay. Now they can define the micropayment to be added to every transaction. So let's say it was $1. Then after that, they begin spending Holly. So let's take Sarah. Sarah goes to Starbucks on every day to buy a favorite cup of coffee at $5. Automatically, that $1 is added to Sarah's transaction. $5 will go to Starbucks. $1 will go towards Sarah's consumer debt. And we do this every month for our consumers as a one-time payment. Additionally, though, we're now using our same micropayment solution, not to just to help the end consumer, but also help companies recover accounts receivable or payments from their customers. Why is this important? Because some people, they experience high anxiety when they see that $200 bill or whatever the size of the bill is. But if I can break that thing down into small micro or bite-sized payments throughout the course of a month, by the time that bill comes, maybe it's only $20. And that's more easy to make that one-time payment. So this is what SpenDebt is. This is how we are helping and supporting end consumer, but now allowing companies to meet their customers where they are using our micropayment solution.
Love that. And I guess, how did that idea come about?
Yeah, the idea came about was just a lifetime experience with money. I think, as a young adolescent, coming from humble beginnings, watching my mother, single mother, rob Peter to pay Paul, making ends meet, right? And I don't think she necessarily had the financial education, or she didn't have the resources and tools that we have today. And then fast forward, me being a young professional, first generation, I graduated, from college, but a year later, I found myself in all this consumer debt. In fact, it was over $140,000+ of consumer debt when you add in my now wife. And it was at that moment that I thought about, my upbringing. And I said, look, if I don't do anything about this, will relive her generation. And I didn't want to do that financially. Yeah. Because my mom had ran her leg of the race and passed me the baton to make a better life. And so understanding that, knowing that began this quest on how do I become financially free, right? And that means different things for different people. But we wanted to become zero debt, zero balance of having consumer debt. And so anyway, my wife and I, we paid that off. And when we paid it off, what we realized, it was other people that were close to us, other friends, family, and we wanted to help them. And so God planted this idea in my head to help people spend money and pay off debt at the same time. And that was the kind of the beginning of SpenDebt.
Nice. I think it's definitely something the vast majority of people can relate to at some point in their lives. So I really love the idea. And I guess if you were to put your message into a couple of sentences, what would you say that you really want to put out there into the world with SpenDebt?
Look, I think the goal is to help people achieve their financial well-being, to help them improve their financial health. Right? That's important. And to me, I think all things center around finances, right, wrong, or indifferent, but they do, right? If you think about the health of people, people are unhealthy because they're stressed out about a lot of things. They're working more to pay bills or to make a life for themselves or for others. But if they have the financial well-being, will they work that hard? Will they be battling some of the ailments that they have? Some people can't afford the meds because of cost, right? Everything's centered around finances, fortunately or unfortunately. And so, we just want to be a tool and a resource for people to leverage and use to improve their financial well-being. Look, I would say this. By me becoming financially free, both my wife and I, it unlocked the opportunities for me to become an entrepreneur and to be on this podcast with you today, sharing my story. And so it's other things in other people that need to be unlocked. And so if we can just play a small part in those stories or in those lives of people to get them over the hump, I think the world will be a better place. People will be healthier, both financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And so that is how I would sum it up. I know it's more than one word or one phrase, one sentence, but that's how I would sum it up.
No, I think that's important. And I really love what you guys are doing. I think it's great. Like I said, it's something the vast majority of the world can relate to. So it's definitely important. Your background then, we touched on it earlier. So this was a year out of you coming out of college, right? So what were you doing? What did you study at college, and what were you doing before then?
Yeah, so I'm an electrical engineer by degree, and I worked nearly 10 years in the manufacturing world for PepsiCo Frito-Lay. And I really enjoyed being an engineer. I really enjoyed working for PepsiCo. And as a part of PepsiCo, working for them, I had a chance to be a part of a startup, a corporate startup, if you will. And we launched a $62 million automated warehouse. What most people understand today as Amazon. We made an Amazon for chips at PepsiCo Frito-Lay. Really got the chance to be a part of kind of history. It was actually the fourth startup in PepsiCo's history. And we got the chance to see all facets and deliver on that startup. And so that's my prior life. And I think, all things work, whether they work on you or they work for you, all things work. And so, what I would say, in terms of my prior life is that experience gave me the chance from an operation perspective, from a people leader perspective. It gave me the tools I needed in order to build the company that we are building today. And so definitely grateful for the past. So, my message, for those that may be listening, it's about money. It's about improving your financial health, but I want you to get this too. And I think the thing that I want you to get is you may be doing something that you don't know why you're doing it or how it's going to benefit you in your next journey. Take advantage of where you are, because we can't control what's behind us. We can't control what's in front of us. What we can control is what we are doing now. And all things work for us, but they absolutely will work on us. And so take advantage of what you're learning, who you're working with, because it just might be your partner in your next venture, or it could be your boss, or you could be their boss. So don't take it for granted and take advantage of it.
Yeah, love that advice. Really good advice. And I guess now going into the fintech space and going into a different type of startup of your own. How does that compare? I can imagine it's two very different worlds, but they have their crossovers as well, of course.
Definitely two different worlds.
Yeah.
We talking about, you go from, hardcore manufacturing engineering to kind of personal finance or finance in general. I think the paths are two different, but processes, right? Processes have this ability to cross over. And it's really what we're designing for people in a very simplistic way. Everything starts with a problem, right? Everything starts with a problem. Then there's a solution, and that solution is kind of architected by, hypothesis, right? If this happens, then this, right? Then we do this, right? And so, in this case, if we have consumer debt, then SpenDebt can help you pay it down, right? And so, from an engineering perspective, it's kind of that problem set, understanding the problem statement. And then being able to architect, what the possible solutions are. And so the crossover from there is understanding the problem and working out a solution that's beneficial. And at the end of the day, I think my skill set fits wanting to solve problems. I've always been fascinated in like, hey, how can we get over the hump, or how can we solve this? What is the issue, right? Is it a people problem? Is it a equipment or a technology problem? Like what is the issue? And so that's the comparison, contrast, and crossover that I think my background has given me the ability to leverage. And then obviously the technical aptitude, just being in college and getting an engineering degree, kind of see things a little bit different as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess at the moment, what problems are you seeing in the fintech space, and how are you trying to overcome them at SpenDebt?
Man, so when you think about necessary problems in the fintech space, I wouldn't necessarily say there are problems in the fintech space, but I think the problems that are in the fintech space is a derivative of the problem that they're trying to solve for the world.
Yeah.
And when we think about that is, just think about that kind of some basic statistics. The average person is troubled to save $400 for a potential emergency that may happen, right? That's more than 40% of the people who live in America. That's an opportunity. Why? It's a lot of reasons why, right? People living below poverty, people not having access to resources, people not having jobs, right? Those are some major problems. And I think, the government and others are working to kind of, deal with those. In the fintech world, specifically us, we want to be able to help people, achieve some of that, right? And it may not be a direct one-to-one, meaning, hey, I may not be able to help somebody with, some of the opportunities they may have, but I know I can help them pay down debt, right? If a person is paying the minimum on a credit card, as an example, right? Is you have a $500 credit card and the minimum payment is $13 a month, and you're paying that $13 a month faithfully, right? Before it's said and done, you may pay off that credit card 3 times because you just paid the minimum balance, because we know interest does not work for the individual. But if you paid a little bit more than that $13 a month, let's say you paid an extra $30 a month, you will save nearly 4 years paying off a $500 credit card, which is time and interest. These are the kind of the ways that fintechs are trying to help and save people and solve the world's problems. Now, when I think about, some products that are out there, that I think are maybe not as robust, but in some cases, it's all things are not for all people. Credit cards is kind of the one thing, kind of the number one consumer debt, right? And we think about outside of obviously mortgages, but this whole evolution of buy now, pay later is kind of the new credit card.
Yeah.
And some people just don't have the discipline which that product was set up for folks, right? And so that does present another opportunity. And so it's like, how do you help them? And so, it's a derivative of, kind of the problem we've seen before. And I think buy now, pay later is a great product. It's a great tool, but I think it is for a certain individual or a certain situation, and not all people should have access to that because it cripples them. And it exacerbates the other opportunities that individual may have. And so that's some of the, or a couple examples of, in my case, how fintechs are having problems or solving problems or creating problems. But I think at the end of the day, I think all fintechs are really designed to develop solutions to support the end consumer, the end user, and support companies being platform as a service or banking as a service in the way they go to market.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting what you said about the buy now, pay later space. I can definitely foresee that almost getting worse because it's so easy at the time to go, I'll just pay for this later. And then that date comes around and then you've got that plus whatever is happening currently that month. So it kind of, like you say, it cripples you more for certain people. So yeah, I can foresee that definitely getting worse as it gets more popular. But I think it's a really interesting space to be in right now. I think it's growing. I think there are startups like yourself solving real key issues that need to be solved. So I'm all here for that. So going on to advice you'd have for other founders or aspiring founders, whether that is in fintech or any space really, what would you tell maybe another young founder?
It's a lot of things that I would tell another young founder. I think one of the most important things that I wish I could have told myself as I think about another founder is most people often get to the solution part before they really understand what the problem is, right? I need to build this, right? And I think as great as we are as innovators and being inventors, I think we have to do the more of the legwork of understanding who the customer is, right? And so it's about building market, right? Understanding what the market is first, in my opinion. And these are from the things that I've been troubled with, or the route that I didn't go at first. And so you learn. And so I would tell the young founders, develop a market behind the idea or the invention or the innovation that you have. Do that first, and really sell your solution before it is created. So the idea of sell it, design it, and then build it, right? And I think if you can do that, then you potentially can get people to partner with you to help build that problem, or help build that solution that can solve their problem. And I tell you, most people that have problems, they know other people have the same problems, right? So if you're designing it for a bank, as an example, banks know other banks. And so you can take, that solution and that is working for this one bank and ask them, hey, could you introduce me to your colleagues at another bank? And then that's how you kind of, you set up this domino effect. So sell, design, and then build it. But the most important thing is create that marketplace, the market for your product or solution that you are looking to build before you build it. For
sure. Love that. I guess that's the power of having a strong network around you, whether that's personal or in your work life. So makes sense. Interested to hear this one. So who are some of your role models and why?
Well, look, I think our first role models are our parents or guardians. I think, that's just kind of our glimpse into the world, right? And although I didn't necessarily have my dad in the home, I had a relationship with my dad. But both of my parents in some part of my life have served as a role model.
Mm-hmm.
My mother has this unique ability. She just has a great work ethic. And being a single mother, I never seen her give up because it was us that she was working for, right? And so rain, sleet, or snow, sunshine, whatever, she's going to work. If she's ill, she's found a way to will herself to get to work because she knows she can support us. My dad, on the other hand, he had this skill set of he's a people person. Like he knows how to develop relationships and build relationships. And he was an entrepreneur. And he had a lot of elements, but he never let those things define who he was. And I, take those, from, my early role models. But if I think external to my house, I'm a bit of a sports enthusiast. I like music as well. And so, and I just like innovation. And so when I think about that, I look at people like LeBron James. Mm-hmm. He has a God-given ability to play basketball.
Yeah,
but it's not about what he necessarily did on the court because I don't think everybody would ever have that ability to do that. But the things that he has done off the court, right? And you talk about surrounding yourself with people. He took his 4 high school buddies and developed businesses, right? Using his know-how, his influence. He took what, he had and built a fortune on it. Think about people like Jay-Z as well. He took his stories growing up. Obviously, he's a great entertainer and poet, but he took all of that and kind of morphed that into this big conglomerate with Beyonce, and he built it. It wasn't just he was singular focused. If you get more practical in developing products, and you have to go, to the likes of, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, Mark Cuban is another one of my favorites. These folks were very hands-on in designing and building products and services that we are using today. It's so many of inventors and innovators that I glean from, but those are some of the kind of the few that I think about.
Yeah. Some great choices. I like it. A couple of people have said their parents, and I always like it when they do because, like you say, there are first very early role models, and hopefully that stays with us through life for sure.
Amen.
So coming to the end of the episode now, we talked the other day, Kiley, about some new features that SpenDebt are releasing. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah. So, right now, we design and have been running the company on kind of what we call a one-to-one basis, meaning you have one bank account that pays off one consumer debt. And, we have now been able to open up, the platform to allow people to pay off multiple debts, meaning now you can pay up to 2 debt accounts. Wow. And so, now I don't just have to pay, my student loan. I want to pay my student loan and credit card. So now you can use our platform and you can divide, your accumulated micropayments. So let's say if you accumulate $100 in a given month, you can divide that based on percent. So, hey, I want to send 60% to my student loan, 40% towards my credit card. Right.
Nice.
You have the ability to do that. And so we're excited about that. Customers are always right. They always tell you what they need.
Yeah.
Always tell you what they want. And so it's just, being in the seat to listen to the customer and being able to design these things to really help people. That's really what we're in the business for. Additionally, we have a feature where we giving people the ability to help someone else, or what we call it the kind of the help a friend feature. Meaning, hey, if I'm a mother and I want to help my my son or daughter, I now have the ability to do that. Maybe it's not a consumer debt that the mother or parent want to pay. They just want to get on the platform, develop and create these micropayments to help their son and daughter pay off that student loan or help them pay off that credit card. Mm-hmm. Now I can do that. And it doesn't feel like a hefty burden to give them $100 or to give them, $200 or whatever the amount is. Now the parent can do it in micropayments and not necessarily feel the kind of the heavy burden. And then the parent knows that, hey, it's going towards their son or daughter's, consumer debt that they wanted to pay. So these are the two features that we have available, and we're pretty excited about it. And we want people to come to the platform, try it out. SpenDebt can be found in both app stores, the iOS and the Google Play Store. You also can find us at SpenDebt.com. We would love for you to try it out. It's free for the first 30 days. And so if you don't like it, hey, that's cool. No pressure. You can always cancel it any time. But if you do like it, I guarantee you, once you start to play with it, you start to see those early results, you will stick with it. The average person has stayed on the platform at least 22 months. And so we're excited about that because we know that it is helping people. And that's what we do. And it's not egregious. We're not trying to gouge people. We do charge $3.99 per month. So if you want to know what the cost is, that is the cost. So we're talking $4 a month. But the value you get out of having transactions, unlimited transactions on our platform, I don't know if you can find it anywhere else.
Love that. That's super exciting. I love those features. Are you have you expanded to the UK yet, or are you just US based for customers?
We are US based, but I tell you, we are aggressively working on our product roadmap, our technical roadmap to expand our geographical adventures to the UK. Nice. And we've done some early work. So before you know it, we will be in the UK. So just be on the lookout. We're actually planning to go beyond the domestic borders of the United States. And UK is kind of one of our first places to visit.
Makes sense. I'll be on the lookout for that because I definitely want to check it out for myself. Great. Okay. So I think to finish off, Kiley, what would be a great way to end this podcast is if you can give a line or two to anyone listening, whether that's an entrepreneur, a CEO, an account executive or salesperson, one line for them to go about their day with, or one little piece of advice. I'll put you on the spot there.
No, it is, and I appreciate you putting me on the spot because, being put on the spot really makes you come from the heart, right? And what I would tell people is to have faith and not in the things that you can see, but have faith in the things that you desire to see.
Nice.
Have faith in the things that you desire to see. Why am I saying it? Because it makes you take those steps. It makes you put in the work. It makes you not give up. Yeah. It's the possibilities and opportunities and the potential results and impact you can have when you take those steps. So don't have faith in what you can see. Have faith in what you desire to see. It will make you do the work. It will make you get up. It will make you not give up. And it will keep you with this level of curiosity. Let me just take a pause and I'm gonna close it out. And I think in 2007, I think is when the first iPhone came about, right? Mm-hmm. Just imagine Steve Jobs and Apple only desiring what they saw. Will we have the level of innovation when it comes to telecommunication or our iPhone or the devices that we use today? Probably not.
No.
Right. But when they have the faith and desire for the things that we cannot see today, that's how innovation comes about.
Yeah.
Innovation is not unique to just Steve Jobs. It's not just unique to Kiley Summers. It's unique to you, the listener, you, the person that's watching, you that gets up every day putting your pants on. It is unique to you as well. And so have faith in the things that you desire to see and go change the world. Go change the world. You can do it. I believe in you.
I love that answer. It's speaking it into existence, right? It's manifesting what you want. I love that. Do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Kiley. I've really enjoyed the chat today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Thank you. And I hope your listeners take away some nuggets and have that faith in the things that they cannot see.
I'm sure they did. Thank you so much to everyone listening, and tune in next time for Growing Tech Fast.